ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we completed the 16th chapter in the last class. We had a summary of it also. Now we have to start the 17th Adhyaya. The 17th Adhyaya, the name is Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So it is a continuation from the previous chapter. In the last chapter, in the last shloka, Lord Krishna was referring to Shastram, Pramanam, etc., etc. So Arjuna gets a doubt basing on that, what Lord Krishna told in the last line of that 16th chapter. Arjuna gets a doubt and he puts a question. And as a result of that question, Lord Krishna has to give a very detailed reply. Lord Krishna chooses to give a very detailed reply, though Arjuna puts a very generalized question. So in this chapter, Krishna talks about the three types of Shraddha. Shraddha, Traya, Vibhaga. That is division of Shraddha into three categories. What is Shraddha? Number one, Shraddha we know. Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha Shraddha. There is a general definition given by say one Prakarana Grantha. So there Guru Vakyeshu Vedanta Vakyeshu. Of course Guru is not telling anything which is not there in the Vedanta. Whatever is there in the Vedanta, it is coming through the mouth of the Guru. So Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha. So there is a word called Vishwasa. Vishwasa is something called faith. Vishwasa, it means faith. So that means Vedanta is telling about certain thing. Vedanta is telling about some Shreyas which is going to come to you if you follow that path. So there should be some amount of willing submission to that. There is some amount of willing acceptance to that. That willing acceptance and sincerely following it. So that is what is called Shraddha. It is faith. It is not exactly blind faith. See, faith means it can be blind faith also. So here in Vedanta you are coming across the Anubhava, you are coming across the examples of so many saints, examples of so many Jnanis. So seeing all that, you are supposed to follow the path with the confidence and trust in the teacher, the trust in the Shastra, not merely in the teacher, not in the teacher but in the Shastra mainly. So you are having that trust in the Shastra and then you are going ahead. That you are going to change yourself, you are going to achieve that particular goal which is mentioned in the Shastra. So that is what is called Shraddha. So it can't be translated as say faith or something like that in one single word. It is a rather complicated concept. It is basically an attitude of mind. Shraddha is basically an attitude of mind which reflects in all our activities. So it is number one, faith. It is willingness to follow a particular code, and it also reflects our trust, and also a sort of undivided attention to a particular goal. All these things, they come under the category, come under the definition of Shraddha. So it is very difficult to translate by one single word. So Shraddha is like that. Shraddha Traya. And ultimately what is Shraddha? So you said it is faith, it is willingness, it is willing submission, etc., etc., willing acceptance, and also trust. All this is basically another vritti only, isn't it? It is only a vritti, chitta vritti only. It is an attitude of the mind. It is also an attitude of the mind, and that attitude of the mind, how is an attitude of the mind formed or shaped? So we are born with some vasanas, we are born with some samskaras. All our previous samskaras, they create an attitude in us. They are going to push us in a particular direction. So this Shraddha also is like that. Shraddha also is another, is a sort of, it is the result of the say the vasanas which have accumulated in the mind, maybe in this janma or previous janma, whatever it is. So that is what is our nature, that is what is our swabhava. And that swabhava determines our shraddha. So that is why there are three types of shraddha. Shraddha Traya, when the Upanishad or when the Vedanta is telling about only one thing, Vedanta is saying, okay, you do this, or this is the way. Either it is in the form of you do this, or Shamsati iti Shastram. It tells about Brahma. So this is what is Brahma, you are supposed to know. So it say recommends. It is a sort of number one at one level it is commanding in nature, and at the other level it is commending in nature. So that is when that being the case. So why are there three types? Because the human antahkarana is something like what Vidyaranya gives the example of colored glass. Vidyaranya gives the example of a colored glass. You pass the normal light through some filter, red filter, the outcome will be red light. A green filter, it will be green light. Another dark filter, it will be the light, that light also it becomes rather dark, and then yellow filter, it becomes yellow, whatever it is, depending on the filter. Whatever comes out will be of that color, isn't it? So the antahkarana is something like that filter. Antahkarana is a sort of filter which interacts with what is told in the Shastra. What is told in the Shastra is not directly put into action. The antahkarana adds its own qualities to that. Antahkarana understands it in its own manner. Antahkarana again, depending on its own swabhava and depending on its own vasanas and samskaras, it takes its own direction. So that is what it is, something like a light getting reflected and refracted through some other medium. So this is it is like that. So that is why this antahkarana, when it is coming into this body-mind complex, and this body-mind complex is a product of these three gunas. These three gunas, ultimately, they are what are influencing. These three gunas are influencing the Shraddha. Sattva guna, Rajo guna, and Tamo guna. These are the things which are causing all our. They are behind all our activities. Guna guneshu vartante. All our activities are determined by these gunas, and because our actions are determined by them, all our samskaras are also determined by these gunas. And because samskaras are determined by these gunas, Shraddha also is determined by these gunas. Shraddha, again, sattvika vasana, there will be sattvika Shraddha. Rajasa vasana, you will have Rajasa Shraddha. Tamasa vasanas and samskaras, you will have Tamasa Shraddha. So that is why there are three types of Shraddha. So this is what we see, and then this Shraddha is something which we see, say in all our activities. When you see in several of our activities, everybody is having his own field of specialization, his own field of Shraddha. Somebody is interested in making money, somebody is interested in something else, somebody is interested in pursuing education, somebody is interested in some other field of knowledge. So like that, all people are having some type of Shraddha, and while following that particular path, they may choose a sattvic way, they may choose a rajasa way, they may choose a tamasa way also. So there are so many different types. So in this chapter also, we will be examining human nature. In the last chapter, we examined human nature in different shapes. Here also, the human nature is being examined. And again, the purpose is same. The purpose is to avoid what is bad and to accept what is the right thing. Avoid, say what is that earlier we saw, Daivi Sampad Adhanaya, that is to take, to inculcate that Daivi Sampad, and Asuri Sampad Parivarjanaya, that is in order to reject that Asuri Sampad, all the demonic attributes we have to reject. So similarly, we have to strengthen our Sattvika nature in all our pursuits. Sattvika nature maybe in say all our pursuits, of course. Human life has so many pursuits, but this particular chapter, it is not going into all those pursuits. It is limiting itself to some pursuits which are relevant to Vedanta, which are relevant to our spiritual progress. So what are they? Number one is activity, yajna. Yajna is one thing. Yajno dhanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. There is a shloka also which we are going to see in 18th chapter. So yajna is one thing. That is say what is that, all yajna is something which is associated with this karma yoga. What is your attitude towards yajna? Then dhanam, that is charity. Charity is something which is also associated with your karma yoga. Tapaha, tapa is austerity. Austerity for the purpose of self-purification. That is again very important. Yajno, dhanam, tapasyeva, pavanani. Pavanani means these are the purifying agents. These are the purifying agents for the antahkarana. So this is what we see. So that is why in this chapter the concentration is on yajna, tapas, dhanam, and in addition there is one more subject called ahara. That is what we eat, what we drink. That is ahara, ahriyate iti ahara. What type of ahara? That is not only food, not only food, but drink also. Food, drink, everything. Ahriyate, whatever is taken in, is ahara. So yajna is one subject, ahara is another subject, tapas is another subject, dhanam is another subject, because these are connected with say this our spiritual progress. So though all our activities are determined by sattvika, rajasa, tamasa, shraddha, we are not bothered about how you are preparing for your UPSC exam, or we are not how you are preparing for some other IIT examination. We are bothered about yajna, dhanam, tapas, and also ahara. So these subjects are described here. Then in that yajna, say what is the type of yajna? Yajna by itself is not pavanam. Sattvika yajna is pavanam. Yajna by itself is not pavana, but sattvika yajna. Similarly, ahara. Ahara itself is not going to give you the good result. Sattvika ahara is going to give us good result. Similarly, tapas, sattvika tapas is going to give us the good result. Similarly, sattvika dhanam is going to give us the good result. So like that, we have to see, you may be doing dhanam, you may be doing tapas, but whether it is contributing to the say welfare of humanity, or whether it is detrimental to the welfare of humanity, that is what we have to see. So that is why. So the sattvika guna or sattvika vasana has to be strengthened by us. So that is what is the purpose of this particular chapter. Then the structure, if we see, this chapter is again fairly small, not very big compared to say second adhyaya or say 18th adhyaya. It is not big. It is not very, very small also. It is having about 28 shlokas. It starts with Arjuna's question. Arjuna puts a question basing on what Lord Krishna told in the last chapter, and then Lord Krishna chooses to give a very, very elaborate reply by analyzing, classifying the type of shraddha. So classifying the type of shraddha, and this shraddha is again determined by these three gunas. So shraddha, which is determined by these three gunas, he is classifying. So as we see, the first three shlokas are by way of introduction. There is a question by Arjuna, and there is a very generalized answer by Krishna in the second and third verses. Then again, immediately Krishna comes into the subject. That is, he describes what is yajna. The 4th chapter to 6th chapter, there are 3 shlokas which talk about yajna. What type of deities are worshipped by us, and then what is the type of physical effort which is put by very different types of people. So that is described. Then again, the next 4 shlokas, he talks about food, ahara. 7 to 10, he talks about ahara. That is sattvika ahara, rajas ahara, and tamas ahara, he talks. Then again, he comes back to yajna. He again comes back to yajna from the point of view of phala-kanksha. Earlier, in the earlier, say 3 shlokas, he talked about say sattvikas, what type of deities they worship, rajasas, what type of deities they worship, from the point of view of the god chosen, from the point of view of the god or deity chosen. The first 3 shlokas are there. The other 3 shlokas are from the point of view of the type of shraddha, whether it is sattvika shraddha, rajasa shraddha, or tamasa shraddha, whether the fellow is having phala-kanksha or not, what is the degree, abhisandhaya, phala-abhisandhi, that phala-abhisandhi, how far it is there. So that is what is there. Then again, from 14th to 19th, there are 6 verses in which he talks about tapas. Tapas again he considers from 2 points of view. One is, say we have got trikarana, we use the word called trikarana shuddhi. That is, what we do, what we talk, and what we think. So from these 3 points, from this point of view, he talks about shariram tapa, that is what we do with our body, what we think, manasam tapah, then vachikam tapah, that is what we speak to others, because speech is something which is as powerful as the body. You see, I may hit you and then you may forget about it. But then suppose I insult you, I abuse in a very bad way, that will be there lingering in the mind for a long time. This hit will go in no time. So anyway, so this Trikarana Shuddhi, from that point of view he explains, and the next 3 shlokas he explains from the point of view of Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna. Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna. So what is Sattva, Sattvika tapas, Rajasa tapas, etc. Then again he comes to Dana, charity. Then shlokas 20 to 22nd, there are 3 shlokas which talk about charity. Here again Sattvika Danam, Tamasa Danam, Rajasa Danam and Tamasa Danam. Then at the end, the concluding shlokas, he talks about the Vedic Sampradaya. Lord Krishna talks about the Vedic Sampradaya. So whenever you perform a yajna or something like that, in order to neutralize any bad things which have happened, in order to neutralize the lack of Shraddha, because Shraddha is, suppose you are sitting for a puja, you are sitting for puja and then you say, okay, Ganapati Avahayami, so and so Avahayami, so and so Avahayami, but at the same time you are chatting with somebody else and then somebody is joking and then you are also sharing a joke with him. We come across such purohits. Particularly in marriages, you come across, even in, when you invite somebody for some vratam, it may be Varalakshmi Vratam or Satyanarayana Vratam, you come across people who will be chatting and then who will be joking with all types of jokes they will be sharing. So that is the lack of Shraddha, total absence of Shraddha. So for all that absence of Shraddha, we also pray, say a prayer. Bhakti Hinam Janardana. What is that? Mantra Hinam, Kriya Hinam, Bhakti Hinam Janardana, Yat Pujitam Maya Deva, Paripurnam Tadastute. So, okay, oh Lord, my mantras are not properly uttered. Kriya Hinam, even the Kriya is not properly performed. And my Bhakti, my mind has been wandering here and there. In spite of all that, oh Lord, you please take it as complete, as something which is completed, in a complete form. So it is as though I fill up my application form in a very, very dirty manner, and then you say, oh Lord, give me 100 marks, please take it as the complete thing. So it is like that. So for all that, say our Vedic tradition is, okay, at the end you please say Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Saditi Nirdeshaha, Om Tat Sat. For at the end of every prayer we say our puja, we say Om Tat Sat. This is basically to neutralize all these defects in the process, all these defects which have taken place in the process, this inadequacy in procedure, etc., etc. So with this, this Adhyaya ends, and at the end of the Adhyaya, Lord Krishna again says, the concluding words of Krishna are that Shraddha is very, very important. Whether you do, the basic question here is, earlier we talked about, in the earlier shlokas, in the earlier chapters, we talked about somebody who knows the procedure, who is well acquainted with the process of that Shastra, and then who is performing, who is doing that Anushtana, who is implementing that Shastra. In this chapter, we are talking about somebody who is not acquainted with the procedure, this is one very important point which we have to see, because this chapter is most relevant to all of us. This chapter is most relevant to the 21st century. This chapter is most relevant to all of us who are distanced or who are cut off from our culture, our tradition, because our fathers, you take the case of a young man. Take the case of a young man who may be in some company, working in a company or something like that. So he might have seen his father doing some Sandhyavandana. He might have, because his father's time itself, time has changed. And his father definitely has seen his father, that is this boy's grandfather, was definitely doing Sandhyavandana, he was definitely doing some Devatarchana, he was definitely following some procedures, etc., etc. So we are gradually getting cut off. But at the same time, some sort of some lingering say feeling is there in us, some lurking feeling is there in us, some sort of feeling that, oh yeah, I belong to some tradition and I have to follow that tradition. So there is some little bit of shraddha, there is some little bit of devotion, some little bit of willingness to oblige, willingness to follow a particular path. So this is there. So this particular chapter addresses such people. Earlier chapters addressed people who were well acquainted with the process, well acquainted with the procedures, etc. This chapter, it addresses people who do not know the procedures, but then who have some shraddha. So from that point of view, this chapter is most relevant for us. So the concluding line of Lord Krishna is that whether you know, whether you do by knowing and following procedure, or by not knowing procedure, it is good if you have, it is necessary that you should have shraddha. And if you have shraddha, this shraddha itself is going to redeem you. Shraddha itself is going to redeem you. Whether you have knowledge, whether you have very thorough knowledge of the process of yajna. Yajna means there is a lot of iti kartavyata. In the last, there was one in the Bhashya, we saw one word called iti kartavyata. Anga iti kartavyata visa. Yajna anga iti kartavyata. Iti kartavyata means that procedure. How to do and what to do. That is what is iti kartavyata. Some words are there for that. So anyway, so that iti kartavyata is that procedure. So even if you do not know the procedure, if you have shraddha, the shraddha is going to redeem. So that is what is the basic theme here. So that is very relevant for all of us. So that is, with these words, Lord Krishna concludes. So I think we can get into the text now. There is aharasya pitrividhaha. Okay, there is a small, only one line, avatarika, that is, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te iti. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te iti. Bhagavad-vakyat Labdha Prashna Bijaha. Bhagavad-vakyat Labdha Prashna Bijaha. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna Uvacha. Ye Shastra iti. Ye Shastra iti. Okay, this is, the last shloka was, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Vyavasthitau. That is what he said. Shastra is the pramana for knowing whether what is right and what is wrong. Then tasma jnatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum iharhasi. So on that, basing on that, Arjuna raised a question, maybe for our benefit, or maybe he himself was in that place, because Arjuna, though he also studied Veda in his childhood, all these Kshatriyas, they were studying Vedas. Probably he had also forgotten some little bit, so he himself had a doubt. Or sage Vyasa, because of compassion for the readers, he himself has raised the question, he has put the question in the mouth of Arjuna, and then he has raised this question. What is that question? Say, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te iti Bhagavad-vakyat, from that word of the Lord, Labdha Prashna Bijaha. So he got a point to question. Labdha Prashna Bijaha. Prashna Bija means, Bija is a seed. The seed for a question means, he just got a point to question. So I say something. When I say something, you concentrate on one particular point, and then basing on that point you put a question to me. So that is that Labdha Prashna Bijaha. So he got a point to question. Then Arjuna is saying, let us see the shloka. Ye Shastra Vidhimutsrujya Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishtatu Ka Krishna Sattvam Ahorajastamaha. Okay, ye means those who Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya. This Utsrujya word we saw earlier also. Utsrujya means throwing to the winds. Shastra Vidhi. Shastra Vidhi means whatever is mentioned, whatever is ordained in the Shastra, you are throwing to the winds. But then, Yajante, you perform that. Yaja, not necessarily Yajna, any other thing. Yajna, Dana, Tapa, whatever it is. Yajante, you perform that. Shraddhaya Anvitaha, associated with that Shraddha, with some element of Shraddha, with some degree of Shraddha. These people, they follow. Of course, commentator gives what are the reasons for that. For example, Madhusudana Saraswati says, Utsrujya alasyadi vashat, not deliberately, but due to circumstances, just like we discussed now. Somebody who is now in some say computer field, or somebody who is in some software company, his father, he has seen his father doing some Sandhya Vandana, and his grandfather definitely was more thing. And then observing all these things, this fellow also has inherited some little bit of Shraddha. So with that little bit of Shraddha, he is trying to pursue. So like that, Shraddhaya Anvitaha, they have not given up this Shastra deliberately. You see, there are two ways. One is to know the Shastra and perform. That is the rightest thing. Knowing the Shastra, knowing all the procedure and perform. That is the right thing. Then knowing the Shastra and then ignoring it, and then we saw that Dambha, Darpa, etc., where somebody says, no, you tell the mantra as I say, you revise the mantra like this, and then these people, they show their authority there. They show their authority while doing that puja also. So that is again, that is the Asuri Sampat actually. That was the Asuri Sampat. Then number 3, this man does not know the procedure, but then he has Shraddha. So knowing the procedure and performing it thoroughly, knowing the procedure and ignoring it, not knowing but then having some Shraddha. So there are 3 types of situations. We are talking about the 3rd type of situation here. So here, Shraddhayanvitaha, Tesham Nishtha. Nishtha means their say Shraddha, their attention, their sincerity, their status, let us say, their status of sincerity. Their status of sincerity, Hey Krishna, Sattvam, Aho, Rajaha, Tamaha. Sattvam, is it Sattvam? Aho, Aho means or else, Ahosvit. Ahosvit is an avyaya, that is or else, something like that. Or else, Rajaha or Tamaha. Their Nishtha, their their sincerity in that status of sincerity, let us say, that status of sincerity, can it be called Sattva? Can it be called Rajas or can it be called Tamas? So that is the question of, it is a natural consequence of what Krishna told, natural follow-up of what Lord Krishna told in the last, in the earlier shloka. Okay, let us see the Bhashyam. Ye kechid avisheshitaha Shastra vidhim Shastra vidhanam Shruti smruti Shastra chodanam Utsrujya parityajya Yajante devadin pujayanti Shraddhaya anvitaha Not Shraddhayaha, Shraddhaya anvitaha Shraddhaya astikya buddhya anvitaha sanyukta santaha. Shraddhaya astikya buddhya anvitaha. Not buddhyaha, astikya buddhya anvitaha sanyukta santaha. That is Trutiya Vibhakti. Astikya buddhya, Shraddhaya, that is Trutiya Vibhakti. Shraddhaya, Shraddha is the word, Shraddhaya is Trutiya Vibhakti. Shraddhaya astikya buddhya anvitaha sanyukta santaha. Shruti lakshanam smruti lakshanam va Kanchit shastra vidhim apashyantaha Vruddha vyavahara darshanadeva Ye shraddadhanataya devadin pujayanti Ta iha ye shastra vidhimutsrujya yajante shraddhayanvita Ityevam gruhyante. Who are the people covered in this particular chapter? That is the point here. What type of people are covered in this chapter? I just explained to you the 3 types of people. The 3rd type, those who do not know the procedure, those who do not know Sanskrit, those who have not devoted enough attention or enough patience to learn some Sanskrit or to know some procedure. So all these people we can include in this. But then who are having some Shraddha. So these are the people. You see, ye kechid avisheshitaha. Avisheshita means not specifically mentioned. Visheshita is, Vishesha is specific. Visheshita is somebody who is specifically mentioned. In ye kechid avisheshitaha, not specifically mentioned above. Avisheshitaha. We have to assume as not specifically mentioned above. That above word we have to borrow. not specifically mentioned above. Is it clear? Avisheshitaha means those who have not specified above. That is it. Then Shastra Vidhim. What is Shastra Vidhi? Shastra Vidhanam. Whatever is there, that procedure, etc. Whatever are the commandments of the Shastra, that procedure, whatever it is. Then Shruti, Smruti, Shastra Chodanam. Shruti also does some Chodana. Smruti also does some Chodana. Chodana means direction. Dharma, the very meaning of Dharma is Chodana Lakshanartho Dharma. Not meaning of Dharma, that is the purpose of Dharma. So there is what is called, what sutra is this? Jaimini Sutra. In this Jaimini Sutra, Chodana Lakshanartho Dharma. That is one of the beginning sutras. Chodana means directing a human being into various types of activity. That is the purpose of Dharma, is to direct a person. The purpose of Dharma is to direct a person into various types of activities. So that is the meaning there. Then Shruti is Shastra Chodana, Utsrujya Parityajya, having left it here means not deliberately, not say arrogantly, but out of ignorance, out of circumstances, by sheer force of circumstances. Then Yajante Devadin Pujayanti. They do worship, they do go to a temple, whether it is New Jersey or whether it is some other place, they go to a temple and then say they do some worship. So they also do various things with a lot of attention and Shraddha. Devan Pujayanti, Shraddhayan Vitaha. Shraddhaya means Astikya Buddhya. Very simple meaning of Shraddha is Astikya Buddhi. Astikya Buddhi means Asti. There is something Asti. Astikya Buddhi. That is, there is something called some divine thing. Astika. And also there is something called, there are two meanings of Astika. That is, somebody who is a believer is one meaning. Somebody who accepts the authority of the Vedas. That is Astika. Nastika is one who does not accept the authority of the Vedas. So in both ways we can take it like that. Astikya Buddhya, one who is a believer plus who also trusts the guidance given by the Vedas. Then Astikya Buddhya Anvitaha Sanyuktas Santaha. Anvita means Samyuktaha. That is who are equipped with that. They are equipped with or endowed with that Astikya Buddhi. Then Shruti Lakshanam va Smruti Lakshanam va Kanchit Shastra Vidhim Apashyantaha. But then they do not know whether it is Shruti Lakshanam, that is what is defined in the Shruti, Smruti Lakshanam, what is defined in the Smruti, va Kanchit Shastra Vidhim Apashyantaha. Apashyantaha means not seeing, not knowing. Apashyantaha means not knowing. Pashyati dhatu. Apashyantaha, not knowing. Then what do they know? Vruddha Vyavahara Darshanadeva. That is Vruddha Vyavahara. Vruddha Vyavahara is one word which normally we see. Vruddha Vyavahara is your grandfather has done that. In your house, if you go and see that all old trunks, you will see a lot many books which your grandfather had studied, and that your grandfather has studied so many books. You see, you will come across some old books, some huge books, some Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. You come across all those books which were read by your grandfather. Then maybe your great-grandfather had again studied some more books. They will also be there. So all those things, Vruddha Vyavahar, and also they were performing certain rituals. When you were childhood, you have some vague memories of your grandfather doing some puja. So all these things. Vruddha Vyavahara Darshanadeva. Ye, those, Shraddhadhanataya Devadin Pujayanti. Those people, Shraddhadhanataya, with some amount of Shraddha. Not some amount, there is no word, Shankaracharya is not saying some amount, with Shraddha he is saying, Shraddhadhanataya, with some Shraddha, Devadin Pujayanti, they worship various gods. Ta iha, ta means they, those people, iha, here in this particular context, ye shastra vidhimutsruje yajante shraddhayanvitaha ityevam gruhyante. In this first line, they are the people who are taken. They are the people who are considered. They are the people. They are the subject matter here. So that is the meaning. Iti evam gruhyante. Gruhyante means they are taken here. They are taken here means they are the subject matter here, and not those who know the Shastra and then knowingly who have rejected. Because somebody who knows the Shastra knowingly rejects, there is no question of Shraddha. You can't call it Shraddha. Somebody you know the Shastra and still you don't follow, that is not Shraddha. So that is it. That is, there is some other thing you have to, that is arrogance. So okay, let us see the next line. Ye punaha kanchit shastra vidhim upalabhamanaha upalabhamana eva tam utsrujya ayatha vidhi devadin pujayanti te iha ye shastra vidhim utsrujya yajante iti na parigruhyante. So that is what I was saying. Those, ye punaha means, on the other hand, those who kanchit shastra vidhim upalabhamanaha. Upalabhamanaha means knowing it. Upalabhate, upalabha. That is knowing it. Those who know it, those who are well aware of it. And then the upalabhamana eva, while being so, tam utsrujya. So you are leaving it to the winds. Then ayatha vidhi. Ayatha vidhi means, yatha vidhi means as per procedure. Ayatha vidhi means not as per procedure. Not as per procedure. Devadin pujayanti. So they worship gods in whatever manner they like. So whatever, so this fellow sits in a chair and then say puts the god down below and then he'll be throwing something. Of course, that's an example. Some people may be having some genuine difficulty, but there are people like that. There are people who say, okay, while performing puja, some pujari will be chanting some mantras. So these people will be interfering and then they say, no, you do like this. So all types of people. Ayatha vidhi devadin pujayanti. Or suppose the procedure is for 1 hour. Then we say, hey Pantulu, you cut it down to 15 minutes. So that is what we say. Many people, they do say that. Ayatha vidhi. Then te iha, those people are taken here. Ye shastra vidhi mutsrujya yajante iti na parigruhyante. Those people, they are not taken here. Why? Kasmat. Shraddhayanvitatva visheshanat. There is one visheshana called Shraddhayanvitah. So that Shraddhayanvitatva visheshanam is there. Shraddhayanvitatvam is the visheshanam. Shraddhayanvitatvam means the fact that they are associated with some Shraddha. That is what is Shraddhayanvitatvam. So they are being, visheshanam is they are being specified. They are being, say, described in that particular manner. Because of that, you can't you can't accept this type of people who know the procedure and at the same time rejecting. Then devadi puja vidhiparam kinchit shastram pashyanta eva tad utsrujya ashraddhadhanataya tad vihitayam devadi pujayam shraddhayanvitah pravartante iti na shakyam kalpayitum yasmat. Okay. Because kasmat, why? Because yasmat shraddhayanvitatva visheshanat, that's what they said. Then devadi puja vidhiparam kinchit pashyanta eva. Pashyanta eva means knowing it. Pashyati is seeing. Seeing means knowing. Pashyanta eva. That vidhi they are seeing. That means they are knowing it thoroughly. Pashyanta eva. Tad utsrujya, having abandoned it, then ashraddhadhanata, that utsarjanam, how does it happen? That abandoning, how does it happen? Because of ashraddha only. On one hand, because of ashraddha, you are abandoning it. So that is why you can't say ashraddhayanvitaha. So on one hand, you are rejecting and then you can't visualize the situation. That is what he says. Iti na shakyam kalpayitum means it is not possible to visualize that. Na shakyam kalpayitum. It is not possible to visualize a situation where a person has deliberately rejected and at the same time you can't use the word shraddhadhanataya. Shraddhayanvitaha. When the person is when a person has deliberately rejected, you can't use the word shraddhayanvitaha. You can't visualize such a situation. So that is the meaning here. Shraddhadhanataya tad vihitayam devadi pujayam. So when he is doing a puja which is not having any that procedure, proper procedure, then you can't use the word shraddhayanvitah pravartante. They are performing it along with, with all shraddha. You can't use that word. Iti kalpayitum yasmat. Then tasmat purvokta eva ye shastra vidhi mutsrujya yajante shraddhayanvitaha
च यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः
इत्यत्र गृह्यन्ते.
इत्यत्र गृह्यन्ते.
Okay. So because of that, Purvokta eva, that is what was told in the first line. That is, those who do not know the Shastra but who are having some Shraddha, they are the people who are taken in this first line. This first line, of course, is repeated thrice in this Bhashya. Ye Shastra Vidhimutsrujya, etc., etc. They only that type of people, iti atra gruhyante, they are taken here. Is it clear?
Yes.
Tesham evam bhutanam.
Tesham evam bhutanam.
एवं भूतानां निष्ठातु का कृष्ण सत्वम अहो रजस्तमः किम सत्वम निष्ठा अवस्थानम आहोस्विद रजो अथवा तमः. Okay, tesham means people of this nature. Evam bhutanam means people of this type. Evam bhutah, anevam bhutah. You see the word evam bhuta. Evam guna visheshna vishishtayam shubhatito, like something like that. Evam bhutah means a person who is of this type. Tesham evam bhutanam, of these people of this type. Nishtha means their status. Their status of sincerity. Ka Krishna, what is that nishtha? Sattvam, aho, rajah, tamaha. Kim sattvam? Is it sattva? Nishtha, he is saying, the Shankaracharya is giving the meaning, avasthanam. Avasthanam means to be in that particular thing. Nishchayena avasthanam is nishtha, isn't it? So a person who is staying in that particular state of mind, that is what is nishtha. What is the nishtha? What is the degree of sincerity? So that is the point there. Nishtha avasthanam. Is it sattvam? Ahosvit means or else rajaha athava tamaha. Is it rajas or tamas? Whether the fellow's nishtha can be called sattvika nishtha or rajasa nishtha or tamasa nishtha. The question is simple. Question is, a person who does not know the procedure but at the same time having shraddha and he is doing something, do you call it sattvika shraddha or rajasa shraddha or tamasa shraddha? So that is what is it. Then etaduktam bhavati. या तेषां देवादि विषया पूजा सा किं सात्विकस्य आहोस्विद राजसी उत तामसी इति. सॉरी, सात्विकस्य, नॉट सात्विकस्य. सा पूजा किं सात्विकी आहोस्वित. Yeah, because all things are clubbed here. Satvikya hosvid rajasyuta. That is what this says. I am breaking and reading. Satviki ahosvid rajasi. Satviki ahosvid rajasi. Uta tamasi iti. Uta tamasi iti. Okay, because my book says Satvikya hosvid rajasyuta. So I have to break and read. That is the problem. So this eta duktam bhavati means the meaning is like this. Eta duktam bhavati means this is what is the meaning. What? Ya tesham puja, whatever puja they are doing, whether it is satviki puja means associated with sattva-guna, or rajasi or tamasi. It's quite simple. Then next, samanya vishayoyam prashnaha na pravibhajya prativachanam arhati iti. Sorry, na pravibhajya prativachanam arhati iti. Shri Bhagavan uvacha. Okay. Samanya vishayaha ayam prashnaha. This prashna is quite generalized in nature. It is not specific. It is a very fairly general question. So samanya vishayaha ayam prashnaha. So he has put a very broad based question. Arjuna has put a samanya vishaya, we can also say broad based question. You see, it requires a very broad, elaborate answer by proper analysis and all that, by proper categorization. So that is why ayam prashnaha na apravibhajya prativachanam arhati. So it cannot be answered. It cannot be answered without vibhajana. Apravibhajya means without making vibhajanam. Without making vibhajana or without making categorization, without making a proper analysis and division, it cannot be answered. You see, simple answer he may say, but then he should also say what is sattviki tapas, what is sattvika yajna, what is tamasa yajna, what is rajasa yajna. So he has to classify, he has to categorize and then explain. So this prashna, this question, though it is general in nature, It cannot be answered. Na pravibhajya prativachanam arhati. Prativachanam means reply. Arhati means it cannot be told. Na prativachanam arhati means it cannot be answered. It cannot be answered without properly dissecting it, without properly analyzing it into its components. You have to analyze that question into components and then only say answer. So without proper vibhajana or categorization, it is not possible. So that is why Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Trividha bhavati shraddha. Dehinam sa svabhavaja. Satviki rajasi chaiva. Tamasi cheti tam shrunu. So this is again a simple shloka. Trividha bhavati shraddha. Shraddha trividha bhavati. Shraddha is of three types. Then Dehinam. Dehinam means of all the people, not only human beings, but of course we are now talking of human beings. We do not know whether lions and tigers they do Shraddha, they do puja. We are now talking of human beings. Dehinam. That is Dehavatam. Dehabhimanavatam. For the word Dehi, we have come across this explanation. Dehabhimanavatam. One who is having this Dehabhimana. One who is having Tadatmya with Deha. Dehatma-adhyasa. Then for these people, Shraddha is sa Shraddha Trividha Bhavati. What is that? Swabhavaja. Sa Shraddha. Sa is, because it is Shraddha is feminine. Sa Shraddha Swabhavaja. It is born out of Swabhava. Swabhava. What is that Swabhava? That is again an outcome of these vasanas, samskaras and vasanas. Of course, Shankaracharya is going to say that. He is going to say that Shraddha is an outcome of all those vasanas. Then Satviki, Rajasi, Tamasi. Why is it called Satviki? Again, Shraddha is feminine. So that is why Satviki Shraddha, Rajasi Shraddha, Tamasi Shraddha. Iti cha, Satviki cha, iti tam shrunu. And you please listen to that. Tam shrunu. Tam shraddham shrunu. Aham vakshyami shrunu. That is the meaning. So let us see the bhashyam. Trividha triprakara bhavati shraddha. Yasyam nisthayam tvam pruchhasi. Dehinam sa svabhavaja. So there is one thing called nishtha, this shraddha, which is svabhavaja. It is born out of a person's nature. Swabhava. Swabhava is one's own nature. And one's own nature again is a product of these three gunas. Product of these three gunas, all these three gunas, they have prompted a person to say perform so many activities. And all these activities, they have given rise to a lot many impressions. And those impressions, they are say again influencing the person's attitude. This Shraddha, all said and done, is an attitude towards a particular action. Whether you are having that Shraddha or whether you are totally casual in your approach, that again is an outcome of our own samskaras, isn't it? So this triprakara bhavati Shraddha. Yasyam nisthayam, that is yasyam, that is whether it is sattva or rajas or rajo, whether it is sattva nishtha, rajo nishtha, tamo nishtha, about which you are asking. Yasyam nisthayam tvam puruchhasi means about which you are asking. Dehinam, of all these beings, sa svabhavaja. There is something called Shraddha which is born out of this svabhava about which you are asking. About whether it is sattva, rajas or tapas. In that manner you are asking. Then he is defining what is this. Janmantara krutaha dharmadi samskaraha maranakale abhivyaktaha swabhava uchyate tato jata swabhavaja. So swabhava means swasya bhava, that is one's own nature, isn't it? Swabhava is one's own nature. What is swabhava? We say Telugu also we use in the same sense. Swabhava. What is this swabhava? Janmantara krutaha dharmadi samskaraha. See, a whole life a particular person has done some activities. Janmantara krutaha. Janmantara means in an earlier life. Dharmadi samskaraha. Dharma, adharma, all types of activities, they have produced a samskara on the, in the antahkarana. That particular samskara, all these impression as we call it, or predispositions as we call it. So all these things, Maranakale abhivyaktah. They are again manifest. Maranakale, here we have to take it as not at the time of death. Immediately after death, when he takes up a new body. In that sense we have to take. Maranakale abhivyaktah means, you see, we are now talking of Janmantara Krutaha. You see, at the time of, suppose somebody is dying now, we are not referring to the karmas of his previous birth.
No.
Janmantara, from this man's point of view, Janmantara means previous life. We are not referring to that. We are referring to what all this fellow has done during this life. When he takes up a new birth, he is born with these tendencies, with these impressions and predispositions. So that is what is that swabhava. So Janmantara krutaha dharmadi samskaraha maranakale abhivyaktah. Maranakale we have to take it as when the person dies. When the person dies and takes up a new birth, abhivyaktah means manifests. It manifests obviously in a new birth, manifests in a new life rather. Of course, there is Madhusudana Saraswati has written more clearly here. You see, Madhusudana Saraswati, I will read out. Janmantara krutaha dharma dharmadi shubha shubha samskara idanim tana janmarambhakaha swabhavaha. So he listen again. Janmantara krutaha, that which has been done in an earlier life. Dharma dharmadi shubha shubha samskaraha. Because of dharma and adharma, there is a shubha samskara, there is a ashubha samskara. Idanim tana janmarambhakaha. This is the arambhaka, or this is the cause for idanim tana janma, for this present life. For this present life, that is the cause, that is what is called swabhava. So this Madhusudana Saraswati has more elaborately mentioned. So that is, in that sense only we have to take the earlier thing also. Otherwise, maranakale abhivyaktah, it does not mean much. Maranakale abhivyaktah, or we can interpret in some other way, like Maranakale, he has a particular frame of mind, Antya Bhavana. With that Bhavana, he takes up a new birth. Ultimately, you have to go to new birth only. So we can't talk of this Janmantara Kruta word with reference to the dying man. We have to use this Janmantara Kruta word with reference to the person who is born. With reference to the person who is born, Antya Bhavana is there for this fellow, Maranakale abhivyaktah. With that abhivyakti, he takes up a new birth. So we have to take the point of view, take the idea of that latest, the second birth. So that is it. Swabhava uchyate, tato jata swabhavaja. From that, what is arising out of it is swabhavaja. The Shraddha which is arising out of it is that swabhavaja. Then Satviki Sattva Nirvrutta.
Satviki Sattva Nirvrutta.
Deva Pujadi Vishaya.
Deva Pujadi Vishaya.
Rajasi Rajo Nirvrutta.
Rajasi Rajo Nirvrutta.
Yaksha Rakshah Pujadi Vishaya.
Yaksha Rakshah Pujadi Vishaya.
Tamasi Tamo Nirvrutta.
Tamasi Tamo Nirvrutta.
Preta Pishachadi Puja Vishaya.
Preta Pishachadi Puja Vishaya.
Evam Trividha Tam Uchyamanam Shraddham Shrunu.
Evam Trividha Tam Uchyamanam Shraddham Shrunu.
Okay. So Satviki, Sattva Nirvrutta. Nirvrutta means something which is the outcome, something which has emanated from that. Nirvrutta, something which is emanating from that, something which has emanated or resulted from that Sattva. Something which is the result of that Sattva is Sattva Nirvrutta. That is Sattva Nirvrutta, what type, what will it be? He is giving, of course, Krishna is going to explain, Shankaracharya is giving a small hint about it. Deva Pujadi Vishaya. So somebody who is endowed with this Sattvika Shraddha, he will go and then worship proper, he will go and worship some deities in a proper way, Deva Puja. You see, we have got different types of, beings. We talk of, in our tradition, we talk about Deva, Yaksha, Rakshasas, etc. and then Pishachas, etc., etc. Somebody who wants to do harm to somebody else. So that fellow will worship Pishacha. Pishacha is something like a devilish thing. The devils are also worshipped in our, it is not in the tradition. It is actually despised in the tradition. It is actually denounced in the tradition. But that is possible. It is possible to worship the Pishacha also. then it is of course not mentioned in the Veda. It is not mentioned in the Veda, but then a human being with the same amount of Shraddha, he can divert his attention either on a god or on a devil. So that amount, that Shraddha which he is devoting on a devil, so that becomes the puja of this, say this Pishachas, etc., etc. Shudra puja as we call it. Shudra is petty. Shudra is something which is despicable. So that is it. So Deva puja adi vishaya. Sattva nirvurta, that is that which is emanating from this Sattva guna is Deva puja. Somebody who wants some good thing in life, suppose he wants some prosperity in life, or something which is in accordance with dharma. Whatever he is asking, it is in accordance with dharma. So those people who are doing this Devadi puja, they do that. Then Rajasi, Rajo Nirvurta, Yaksha Raksha puja adi vishaya. We have come across people who do all types of midnight pujas. Yeah, various siddhis, midnight pujas. They go to say some smashana, that is graveyards, and then sit on say panchakapalas. Skulls they take, human skulls they take, and then they put a seat on that and then sit on that kapalas. And then that is regarding Yaksha Raksha. Yaksha is something between humans and something between humans and gods. There is another category called Yaksha. They are supposed to be having some other powers. So some immediate power to say control somebody. It is like that. Doing harm is something to do with tamasi. Doing harm is something to do with preta, pishacha adi puja vishaya. Preta, pishacha, doing harm to some other people. So Yaksha Raksha puja adi vishaya. We come across such stories where people do worship pujas. A few years ago, somebody killed a tiger from say our Hyderabad Zoological Park, and then took away the skin. They had just peeled off the skin, and then the dead body of that tiger was there, and then the tiger's skin was just peeled off, and then it was taken, obviously for some Shudra puja. Obviously for some Shudra puja, it was never detected. So it is like that, Shudra. So somebody, obviously a very, very powerful person only obviously has done it. Yaksha Raksha puja adi vishaya. Rajo nirvurta. That is all Rajo nirvurta. Then Tamasi is Tamo nirvurta. It is the outcome of Tamo guna. That is Preta, Pishacha, sitting in a graveyard and then worshipping all say Pretas, all say in English there is a word called necromancy. Necromancy means you are calling back the dead, calling the dead back. And then Preta means one who has departed. Pra plus ita Preta, one who has departed. Preta Pishacha, that is you are calling back those who are dead. And then you are trying to, and also Pishacha. Pishacha is another form of devilish character. Pishunam atti iti Pishacha. Pishunam means eating flesh. Flesh eating characters are called Pishachas. So those Pishunam atti iti Pishacha. Then, so these characters are also worshipped by some type of people. We come across people who are in villages. Sometimes you come across people in some villages who have these say powers, and then they can do harm to people. And people say that they can also do. For example, in Telangana area, there is a system called Banamati. There is a thing called Banamati, where black magic, where these people are supposed to practice certain mantras. They are supposed to worship these type of things and then do some harm to people. That is also believed. We can't say how far it is really happening or not, but then that belief is there. So Trividha puja vishaya evam, in this manner, Trividha tam uchyamanam shraddham shrunu. In this manner, there is three types of shraddha that I am going to say. You please listen. So now the time is over. 1 minute, okay. We'll go continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.